Hello guys, it's Johnny time and welcome to another Web3 security tutorial. If you clicked this video, you're probably wondering if AI is going to replace smart contract auditors and Web3 security researchers. And this is a super important question that I will try to answer in this exact video. And if you are a smart contract auditor that never used AI for the auditing process or doesn't know how AI can help him in competitions or audits or security reviews, you've come to the right place. In today's video, I'm going to show you the best tool for smart contract auditors with AI capabilities. And this tool is called Audit Wizard, which we already covered in a previous video. But since then, there are new amazing AI features that are going to change your auditing game completely. In this video, I will show you how to use all these new features that we didn't cover in the previous video. We will try to find a legit high-severity vulnerability using AI from a recent audit contest. Do you think we're going to make it? Let's see. So without further ado, let's get started. So this is Audit Wizard website. I've already created a previous video about this tool and all its capabilities, so feel free to check it out in the link in the description below. Essentially, this is a tool for smart contract auditors, which has a lot of tools built in inside a web application. It's both an IDE, a scanner with AI capabilities, test writing, graphs, and so many amazing features. So in the previous video, I covered some of these features, and since there are so many new features, I'm going to cover them in this video while focusing on the AI capabilities and how they can help us find vulnerabilities in competitions or audits, whether you do it for clients, bug bounties, competitions, you name it. I will show you how to master this tool and get the best out of it. First, you can create a free account by using the link in the description below, a special link to get started with Audit Wizard. And once you get to this page, you can just click either login or sign up. There are plenty of ways to sign up by Google, by Ethereum address, by GitHub. If you want Audit Wizard to connect to your GitHub and get all your repositories and start auditing a repository, private or public, from GitHub, then you should connect with GitHub. Now, I already have an account. You can just create an account, use single sign-on with all these features, or just create a new one. I already have one, so I'm just going to log in to my account. And now that I'm logged in, you can either import new projects, or here on the left sidebar, you have existing projects which you can just jump back on. It remembers all your previous projects in the database, in the cloud, all stored and managed for you. So in this box, you can paste either a smart contract address or a GitHub repository. You can also select the chains. They support multiple chains. So if you're into bug bounty and bug huntings, you can just put the smart contract address and it's going to fetch it, get the code if it's verified, get the state as well. You can see the live state within the tool. We'll see it in a second. You can also explore active contests or bug bounties. If you just want to go and pick a contest or a bug bounty program, you can just go click here and it's going to clone all the code locally to a new project here on the left sidebar. You don't need to deal with finding the repository, do cloning and stuff. Everything's going to be here using one click. And of course, they also have cool find the bug challenges. So if you're getting started, this is also something new that I didn't cover in the previous video. You can get started with these find the bug challenges and also explore and try the tool. So just for the sake of the example, let's just pick the most recent active Code Arena contest, Karak restaking, and we can just click here. It's gonna fetch all the code and create a new project for you all the way here with the README, with the tests, with the contracts, and this is how it looks like. So now that we are familiar with how to get started with the code, let's use this AI Arena repository. It's an auditing contest that happened in Code Arena in February 2024. And let's see if we can find some issues using this awesome tool, Audit Wizard, and its AI capabilities. So let's assume you're starting now a competition. And the first thing you're going to do, usually is go through the README and read the documentation, read the context overview, learn about the protocol, to see the scope, what kind of contracts you're going to audit, what is out of scope, some context. You're going to go through the README, get yourself familiar with the protocol, with the code base, and then you're going to jump right into the code. So let's say we're going to go to the source folder, and these are where the smart contracts are located. And just by reading the overview here in the README, you can understand that it's some kind of PvP game, AI arena on-chain with some ERC 1155 tokens. Over here, we have NFTs, fighters, and we also have our token ERC20 tokens. And you know, you have some staking functionalities, and you can see here that they use ERC20, 721, and 1155. So you can get some initial context about the protocol. And now we want to dive into the smart contract. Let's just take a look here at fighterfarm.sol. So this is probably some kind of farming, staking smart contract. We can also read the README over here. AI Arena Fighter NFT. This contract manages the creation, ownership, and redemption of AI Arena Fighters NFTs. Cool. So Fighters Farm, including the ability to mint new NFTs from emerging pool or through the redemption of mint passes. So what can we do? This is so far just a traditional review of an audit contest, but let's see how we can maximize the tools that Audit Wizard offer us to maybe get better idea of what is this protocol about and how we can approach it to find vulnerabilities. So here on the right sidebar, we have a lot of features. So we have here the AI assistant, we have scan, we have test, we have graph, we have inspect, and we have simulation. We don't have time to cover all of these features in this video, but we will cover more features in other videos, don't worry. For now, I want to start with AI assistant, right? So I want to get some idea about what is this smart contract about, and already you have some questions prepared for you to get started with the AI assistant. So you can ask this AI assistant anything about this project. For example, can you briefly analyze and summarize this code for me? What are the security concerns of this project? Which functions change the state of the contract? How does the contract handle user funds? So these are just example questions, but you can ask any questions that you might have. And I'm just going to start with a basic one. Can you briefly analyze and summarize this code for me? And literally 5 seconds passed and we have a summary of the contract name. It inherits this kind of contracts. It's still writing it. So let's wait for it to complete. We have the purpose of this contract: manage creation, ownership, and redemption of AI Arena Fighters. We have all the state over here, all the state variables, mappings, constructor, external functions, ownership transfer, generation increment, staker, addition, all these external functions that are accessible for users, and some public functions. So you can continue and ask questions. And don't worry, we will go back to this AI assistant, but this is just the basic use case of this AI assistant. Instead of going and reading all the code to get some high-level overview about this smart contract, which is amazing. It's going to save so much time. Now let's jump to the scanners. And as you can see over here, we have 3 scanners built in static analyzers. You can just launch Slither on this smart contract. And then you can also click Analyzer and Audit. So 3 static analyzer gonna run simultaneously on your smart contract and find all these low-hanging fruits, all these vulnerabilities. If you are also a developer, this is a must-have tool for you. Just in one click, you find all these low-hanging fruits, your security issues that you can fix right away before you go through a security review. Or if you're an auditor and you're gonna create an audit for a client, you want to make sure first that you report all these low-hanging fruits. It's very funny. I don't know why, but Slither actually found 3 highs. We don't know. Some of them might be false positives, but it's pretty impressive that we have some highs and mediums over here that Slither was ever able to find. We have Analyzer, 26 issues, 7 lows, 19 others, probably gas optimizations that can be made in this contract, and also Audit found 9 lows. So just by 3 clicks, literally 30 seconds, you get so many issues that you can already fix in the smart contract or report to the developers to fix. And now I want to go and explore another smart contract. So let's take a look at the game items smart contract. And I'm going to open here the AI assistant again and ask him, can you briefly analyze and summarize this code for me? So we have a summary over here from our beloved AI assistant, and this contract manage game items for AI Arena. interesting. It has an inheritance of ERC1155. Let's just confirm it. Yes, we see that it inherits this ERC115 token, and every game item is probably this kind of token. And it has some events, bought item, locked, unlocked. We also have a struct of game item attributes, state variables, constructor, external functions, public functions, private functions, security considerations, and some potential issues. And we already see here that we have some access control and owner and admin, and we have some daily limits and transferability checks. So maybe some of the tokens cannot be transferred, and we have some centralization risk, and we have a very initial broad idea about this smart contract. But now we want to take it a step further and try to see if we can maybe find logical issues or security issues in this smart contract. So we understand that these game items are ERC115 tokens, and we see also there are transfer restrictions. So let's just ask, how can new game items be created? How can we create new game items? Who creates them? How does it work, right? So, well, we get an answer, right? So it has the context, it understands the smart contracts, and it gives us a breakdown overview of how new games can be introduced, how items can be introduced to the games. We have the function create game item, only callable by admins. Okay, so only admins can create new game items, right? And they supply the name, the supply, the URI, transferable, okay? It's a Boolean indicating if the item can be transferred. So we already understand that there are some items in this game that cannot be transferred. Look how much context and how much information we already have about the protocol without even reading the smart contract. This is incredible. It's gonna save so much time. Items remaining, items price, daily allowance. So they set some kind of daily minting allowance. And we have all the steps how the algorithm of creating new items work. And okay, so now I'm in particular curious about this transferable. So some items cannot be transferred, and I'm wondering how they implemented these transferable configurations. So let's ask our AI assistant, can you explain a bit about the transfer restriction and how it works, right? So we are curious, like, how did they implement this transfer restriction, even though we know that ERC115 tokens by default are transferable. Anyone can transfer tokens, right? So let's see what we have here. Transfer restriction purpose, control whether game items can be transferred between addresses. So we have this attribute of transferable in every game item attributes, and we have a function adjust transferability that overrides this we override this safe transfer from function, which is a built-in function in ERC115 tokens. So here we have some details. Each game item has a transferable Boolean attribute, indicates if the item can be transferred. We have this function to change the transferability of an item. So we can either define if it's transferable when we create it, the admin defines it, and you can also adjust it. Only the admin, the owner, can call this function and make it either transferable or not transferable. This is the function. It's going to change the attribute. Great. And we have an override, right? So the safe transfer from is a built-in function in ERC1155, and we override it probably in the smart contract. We can search for it. There you go. We override the original ERC115 function to make sure that game item is transferable. If it's not transferable, we're going to revert that transaction. Great. Now we understand more how this feature is working. So we can add here also a comment, right? So we can do right click. We can do go to definition, pick, add note, add bookmark note, add finding, fold all code, expand all code, all the IDE features that you are familiar with more features, with some extensions that you're familiar with, like comments, but in just way better UX and with these crazy AI tools, right? So we add here a note, overriding original ERC1155 transfer feature, right? Let's fix the typo, transfer feature. So let's add a note, and now you can see that the note was added, and now you can also add notes through your smart contract or issues if you find them, and eventually you can convert them to findings and generate reports using this tool. But again, I'm not going to cover this now. I covered it in the previous video that you can check in the description. But that's not enough, guys. Let's see if we can somehow break this transferable functionality. Maybe there is a way to bypass this functionality, and even though a token is not transferable, maybe we can somehow bypass it, right? We want to see, we are exploring different attack vectors, and we want to ask the AI, is there a possible way to bypass the transferable restriction and transfer a token that is configured as not transferable? So it took a few seconds and the AI replied, yes, there are potential ways to bypass the transferability restriction if the contract is not properly secure. Here are some possible vulnerabilities. Direct call to safe transfer from in ERC 115, which this one is complete bullshit, right? Because we know that it's overriding the original function. So we cannot just, if we call this safe transfer from function, we have this required check over here and we won't be able to transfer the token. We have here another suggestion, approval mechanism. If contract allows setting approvals for all tokens, set approval for all, and approved address might be able to transfer non-transferable token. Also not quite correct because it's, again, the transfer should go through this function, and if it's just approved, it doesn't mean that we can transfer the token. What about this one? ERC 1155 batch transfer. If the batch transfer function, safe batch transfer form, is not overridden with a transferability check, it could be used to transfer non-transferable tokens. What? So ERC 1155 also has a safe batch transfer from, but we do not trust AI, right? We always want to verify. We just get ideas by asking the AI. Maybe it just wrote complete bullshit, it's just an AI. So we want to validate this kind of thing. And I want to go and search here ERC 115.sol GitHub, right? I want to see the actual ERC 115 smart contract and see if we have this function that the AI assistant is claiming to have safe batch transfer from. And we actually have it, safe batch transfer from. And it essentially allows you to transfer multiple token IDs and multiple values from to address with a data. And it's just going to call this internal safe batch transfer from. And it's essentially going to update with acceptance check and eventually transfer the tokens. This is insane. So the AI here found a potential issue because I don't see here an override for this safe batch transfer from. There are no results here. And since we inherit the ERC 1155, this function will be available by default. It's a public function, safe batch transfer from, public virtual function, which we can use to transfer these game items, even though they're configured to be non-transferable. Looks like a legitimate high critical vulnerabilities. We bypass the transferable configuration of game items and we are able to transfer non-transferable game items. This is insane. And we even have here a mitigation suggestion, override the safe batch transfer from and add this kind of check, require that the items are transferable. So even the AI assistant gave us recommendation of how we can fix the issue that exists here. This is completely crazy. Now I want to go and check the audit report of this recent audit contest from February 2024 and see if this issue was reported or not. So I will just go to AI Arena. So this is the AI Arena finding report that was published on May 2024, a few months ago, actually two months ago, something like this. And we have here some high severity issues. Locked fighter can be transferred, leads to game server unable to commit transactions and unstoppable fighters. Doesn't sound like our finding. Non-transferable game item can be transferred with game item safe batch transfer from, guys. This is a legit high severity issue that this AI tool from Audit Wizard was able to find for us from a recent audit competition contest. This is insane, guys. This is insane. So this AI assistant tool was able to find a legit high in auditing competition that you can right now submit and get paid for. And that actually brings me to the conclusion that AI is not going to replace security researchers, but it's a tool to help security researchers save time, get new ideas, explore new code bases faster, and get new perspective about vulnerabilities that might exist in the code. So it's kind of going together, but you do have to use these AI tools to level up your auditing game. And this is the main thing that I wanted to show you in this video, how we use AI within Audit Wizard to find legit high-severity vulnerability. But again, I cannot cover all these features because it has so many features like adding comments, generating reports, opening a whiteboard and start drawing here diagrams to understand better the code base, opening a notepad. We also have graphs, which is another great way to get an idea about all the functions in a high level. So we can do function scope and contract scope. For example, you can just pick a random smart contract like this neuron one, click here the graph button and generate a graph. And then you're going to have a very nice overview of all the functions, all the interactions between functions, all the calls just built in so you can get an idea about this contract. So many must-have features in the arsenal of auditors and security researchers. You can also inspect if it's real-life deployed contracts, on-chain contracts. You can inspect the storage slots. So let's go back to the game items. We can see all the slots, how all the storage layout is going to be implemented on the EVM with all the slots. And if it was a deployed smart contract like a bug bounty, you can also see the values on the on-chain. So it's just so many powerful tools for security researchers, either if you're doing competitions, bug hunting, or auditing for clients for a company. You really have to try and check out this tool. You can use my link in the description below to get started and create your account for free and start using this tool. By the way, I'm going to create another video in the future to cover this simulation feature, the integration with Tenderly, and also the AI test, automated test creation and execution within Audit Wizard. So if you're a smart contract developer, you can just use Audit Wizard to generate unit tests and integration tests for you using AI. This is incredible features and advanced features that I don't have time to cover in this video, but there will be another video in the future. So make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification button. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a huge thumbs up for the video. Feel free to ask questions in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you in the next tutorial.